So this is the deeper, this is the deeper, this is the deeper, and is more so associated with this right here. Avoid your desire and get dragged. Face your desire and come alive. And, oh wow, I see something. I like that. Hi. And that's the deeper. And when I was thinking about this to prepare to come here today, I was thinking, wow, this is so multi-pronged. And let's get into it. So there's multiple ways to enter this conversation. I'm going to enter from this way. All of us know the normal life, right? We know, just like go to Starbucks, get coffee, go to your job, right? Right? Drive the way you drive, that same route. Or maybe you got 2 or 3 routes that you drive home. You got your certain routes that you drive home, right? You got your certain drink that you drink, right? You got your certain, just everything. The way you brush your teeth, the time, the order of your morning, right? Get up, turn on your phone, do that, get your, like, we're all in our normal, boring, redundant lives, right? And okay, like if that's for you, meaning if that's what you were born to have for the entirety of your life, go keep at it, right? Do what floats your boat and gives you what you most want. And in the realm of desire, who's coming to mind right now is Nicole, who I so respect. And the realm of desire, genuine desire, is that it pulls you out of your Starbucks, TikTok life. And the consequence of suppressing desire, ignoring desire, judging, shaming desire is a tense, bitter, highly projecting, afraid, hungry man or woman. So, desire, love, the topic I've been talking so much about. And this connects to the topic of bigger than you. Perhaps I'll make a clear connection later in this live stream, but the double side, the coin of desire, on the one side, everything you would fear about the materialization of your desire, there's the fears on one side, and then highest excitement on the other side. It's the same coin. You'll find that everything you fear, there's a corresponding highest excitement. So what do I mean by this? It's like when things go too good somewhere, right? Like let's say the great desire is something having to do with money or a relationship or your body. But let's say money or relationship, just to simplify this. Let's use relationships since we're talking about love, and this connects with so much, so much. And this department of love, true love, okay? In my experience, a woman who's in her power, again, I'll say this for the first time today, if you're new here, my company helps women come into their full power with an emphasis on Black sheep women or fringe women, women who've always been different. So when a woman is in her true power, which is desired for sure facilitates that, When a woman is in her true power, the power that we help them come into, and she gives herself over to or allows herself to be pulled down by desire. She sees everything that she needs to see. And she knows because the pussy knows. So desire, this is the underworld of everything that's really going on that's affecting what we see, right? It's like the world that's affecting the world, right? So the world of desire is affecting the world. So when a woman is dragged down by desire because we cannot take ourselves out of control. Shout out to Nicole. That's Nicole's language. We cannot take ourselves out of control. This is why whenever we have a desire that it's dragging us around, it feels like we just can't say yes to it. We can't go because it has so much. Okay, hold on. It's a vortex, true desire. I'm not talking about you just want a house, a car. I don't mean like a mere want. I mean like a genuine desire. A genuine desire, it's like you're born, it's like it's built into you. And it's a tool, it's a gateway to your fulfillment, your real, true. I'm getting hot. I feel like I want to open a window. And so, you know how you want to do something powerful, but somehow you can't. I'm talking about the kind of power that makes your body shake, desire that makes your body shake, truth that makes your body shake, because it's so much touching the membrane of power. I'm talking about that real deep cellular power. I'm not talking about power. I'm not talking about the shit that people are talking about. That you take your supplements to get your power up and I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about true power that exists in the realm of the feminine and the realm of the one world that affects all other worlds. I'm talking, okay? And this is the realm that desire is in, which is why it's so disturbing. True desire. And what it is it's the one thing that has the gravitational pull to knock you out of control, because humans are constantly wanting to have it their way and control it and make it do and make her do, him do, this do what we want it to do. And we don't know how to take ourselves down into surrender, most of us. It's like you can massage yourself, but it's not going to give what it gives when somebody else massages you. And so, one, I want to say more about this bit, that true desire triggers so much fear because, one, it's like this quote I thought of. I didn't think it's not my quote. I can't remember the man who said it, but he said, give them what they secretly want and they immediately become panic stricken. Give them what they secretly want and they immediately become panic stricken, right? That's one. And this brings us down into the way we are taught scarcity, okay? The way we are taught scarcity. And I'll bring it into oh, this is good. This is so good. Thank you. So the times are intense right now with a bunch of wars, and one of those wars is the gender war. Now, I know it's fake. It's just a way to divert attention and power. And it is very much a thing, right? In the minds, hearts and minds of many humans. And this is why, oh God, understanding the world that affects the world. For those of you who are very much in touch with the base of reality, the base of reality, the calm of reality, the true connectedness of things, right? So, like in my quiet time, my quiet space, which I love and appreciate, it's so, and who else has this as their reality? It's like, why is everybody fighting? Like, stop, like, grow up, like, and I can see, like, I get it. I get just hungry. Everybody is hungry. So many, not everybody, so many people are hungry. So many people have so many unmet needs. I'm talking about the deepest need, which is the need for connection. So many people feel unwelcome in the world, and it's all connected to all of it. Whether we're talking about poverty, whether we're talking about AI is taking over jobs, whether we're talking about the gender war, or whether we're talking about tariffs and Trump is being a bully and is not collaborating with other countries, like, countries that are linking arms to create a better world. He's coming in like a bully. Do what I say, right? No matter what angle the climate is just getting warm. We're going to have to go up north because it's getting too hot in the south, and then the global south, and the people in poverty. No matter what angle you want to take it at, no matter what direction you want to come from, whether we're talking about the animals, the children, real estate, federal jobs, war between the North and the South, no matter what we talk about, underneath all of it is connection. So this is my come from. This is my come from, connection. This is my come from, no matter what angle of the conversation a person wants to bring it to me as. No matter what angle, it's going to be some kind of connection. So whether you talk about, because Elon is a reptilian, whether you like, because all the plastic in the ocean, whatever you're going to say, racism. Oh, nothing strikingly profound is going to happen with humans holding tightly to belief systems that keep them and others disconnected. No matter how righteous it sounds, no matter how good it sounds, no matter how right it sounds. And I'll bring it into the relationship dynamic, because I could talk about this from so many different angles. But in the realm of true love, because I also have a desire to see really creation, the kind of creation that can only exist when there's harmony. So harmony between melanin dominant men and women, okay, true harmony. And I want to see this globally, but there's a kind of harmony that when we have it, it's going to have a different impact in the world than when other groups have it. It's a whole other conversation. Melanin dominant men and women and the gender war. And a couple things, because this is a big topic, very big topic. One, talking about it from the woman's angle. And if the woman is not in her power, forget about it. Like, we're not gonna do much. We're not gonna go far, because we've had hundreds and hundreds of years to see what men do when they're not in relationship with the full feminine. Even the best of them will pillage and grape anything and everything. The land, knowledge, people, systems, governments, everything they create will be a sort of extracting from, pillaging a thing, and then erecting and talking about it, putting it in story in the ways they choose, which oftentimes paints them as the hero, as the Lord, all the things. And this is what men have proven for hundreds of years that they will do when they are not in relationship with the full feminine. And men of today are really just carrying on what the men before them laid down. Okay. So I start with the woman because regardless of what men say or even think about them being the head and whatever their current position as head, as leaders of the world, creating a masculine, just all the masculine systems that currently constitute reality, the medical system, the judicial system, the legal, the all the systems, everything, healthcare, food, relationships, marriage, like all the systems, particularly in the West, that we live in are institutions and constructions of the masculine, and all of them extract from, all of them poison humanity, all of them divide, pull from, reduce, maintain ignorance, all of them. This is what the masculine has created over hundreds of years. So with them supposedly being the head, the leaders, the one to govern things, they have shown us what their leadership looks like. They have shown us what them being the head looks like. This is not my feelings about it. This is the reality of Western life. Look at your medical industry. Look at your judicial system. Look at our government as is, okay? Look at everything as is, okay? Just look at everything as is. This is just, it's here. What we see is the fruits of men being in charge. It doesn't work. There's wars everywhere. There's hunger, famine everywhere. There's separation, distortion everywhere. Billions of humans going without their deepest needs unmet. This is the fruit of masculine leadership. You want to call it toxic masculine? Fine. But these are the fruits of masculine leadership. Okay? Now, again, the woman. When I say power for women, it is her living in the place where the pussy knows. Okay? She knows. You get that? You listening to me right now. She knows. Now, whether she'll admit that she knows is something else entirely. Okay? And the more a woman tells the truth about sensation moving through her, her intuition, the more she allows herself to be led by desire, the level of clarity and knowing is there, is there. When a woman lives in that, she can allow in from a pure place, from a true place, versus so many women being so disconnected from their knowing, refusing to admit what they know, refusing to trust their intuition. So when you disconnect from your inherent knowing, this is your power. When you disconnect from that, you go somewhere for what you might call to be told what to do. Um, you look for outside something, and oftentimes in the form of a man, but it could be a woman, it could be a teacher, it could be anybody, a guru. Since we're talking about the male-female dynamic, we'll talk about it through the man right now. For a man to validate you, to choose you, to whatever the thing is. And a man will devour you if you're not in your power. He will devour you. It's like he can't help himself. Okay? Because men very much need, it's sort of like, I used to date this attorney who used to always say, who used to be a drug addict. And he used to always say, drug addicts, as far as drugs are concerned, they buy the drugs, but then go beg for what they need. It's hot in here. And what he was getting at is that, or how I'm relating this, is that men need women to be in their power, but they're not going to enforce it. They're not going to require it, because then it would require them to level up, okay? And it would also trigger enormous insecurity. So this person right here who just said men need women for their energy. Yes, and right now women are so not in their power, so scared, so angry also, that our strategy has become, men need us for our energy, starve them. Men need us for our energy, they're fucking parasites. Men need us for our energy, and yeah, nigga, you need me, I don't need you. All scared, disempowered, weak positions. There's so much to say about this, so I'm being mindful because there's certain directions I want to go. Wow. A couple things, so many things. Most of us actually don't know what it looks like and feels like for a woman to be in her power, where the pussy knows, where she's in that kind of, most of us are not in touch with our desire to even operate at a level of power. We're just not there. So when I talk about this, you all don't have a reference to even go to, because most of us are, we're scared of desire. We would actually judge and shame another woman operating from desire. Most of us are so in rejection and suppression of our own desire that if we see it in another woman, there's something else that'll make us be like, and turn away, because we do it to ourselves. So you're naturally going to do to another woman what you do to yourself. So the kind of power that I'm talking about, where love is, because what I was saying, and let me get back here, is that the kind of power that I'm talking about is rulership power. Not in the way y'all think about men running shit and, every time we think about rulership and power, we're always in the background, it's like a slither of conning and a manipulation, because we're constantly thinking like men, because we're so saturated in a patriarchal society. And from the full feminine, when I say full feminine, I mean a woman who's nourished, who's fed. And part of being fed is being fucked well. But we're so, like, when did it become holy to reject the dick? I don't understand. Like, I'm talking about a whole other level of power here, that so many women are so angry and they're not there, understandably, okay? Men, I know they talk a big game. I know they throw money around. I know they act stupid, a lot of them, oftentimes. I know they can present like godly beings. Like, I know, right? We know, right? We see it. God, I'm a God. And we know that they present in these ways. But many of us also know that they're deeply insecure. Even Tony Gaskins, for those of you who like to watch Tony Gaskins, he says it repeatedly. Men are naturally very insecure beings. Okay. Why am I sharing this? Because women, depending on your intent, like what's your intent? Right? If you were born to be like that, okay, fine. But I'm talking about rulership power here. And I think very much at a collective level. Men are half the population. I'm not at all about decenter men and ignore them and deny access and withhold attention and affection and all the things. No, I'm about being the woman where they feel called up or they don't come this way. You know what I mean? It's not like let them all in, come in. No, there are definitely standards. There are standards. And here's the thing. Here we go. Here's the connection. Thank you very much. When a woman is in her place of knowing and admitting that she knows, which so many women just won't admit that they know. So many women won't trust their intuition. So many women will not allow themselves to be fully aroused, like awake. When you look at a man, you look at him clearly. In everything, you look clearly. Expansive. Most women are very like hungry. They're disconnected from their power. They're highly critical and self-judging. You know, so when they're looking out at the world, in many ways they're like looking, am I okay? Am I welcome here? Am I approved? Can I trust what I'm doing and seeing? So when you're like that, you can't really be in right relationship with anything, let alone men. So I'm talking about a woman who does the work to become that kind of the power that a woman is when she's really sitting in the seat of her power with that refined heart. And so much of that refined heart has to do with the pussy knowing and you responding from that. This is so elevated. This is extremely elevated. And so when you go to this place, men can absolutely feel that when they look at you. And you can also interact from that position. And you're deciding who's coming in, under what conditions they come in, how they come in, what happens when they're in, what you even want to occur. Again, this all depends on what you're after. What are you here for? I'm constantly, even in my newsletter last week, I said you need to know who you are and what you're after. Who you are and what you're after. If you're a woman who's like, no, my place is to be a wife and a mother, good, know that. If you are a woman you're here to be on the world stage and steward humanity in a particular kind of way, and the seat of your power, know who you are and do that. If you know that you are meant to be, I don't know, whatever the thing is, know who you are, know who you are, know who you are, and what you're after. Because when you know that, it doesn't matter what anybody else does. It matters who you are and what you're after, so you're on your dime. Okay? So before I go on, I got some comments here. Yeah, it's true. Women are so disempowered. Yeah. Yeah, if women knew. And so, I'd like to go here now. This is really great. I'm very glad that I've had the experience of being an aunt. I love being an aunt. I never wanted to give birth to children. You see, know who you are and go that way. Know who you are, go who you are. I knew as a teenager that I didn't want to give birth to children. I was clear about that. But I'm an aunt. So it allows me to be an aunt, to have been in my niece's and nephew life without the responsibility of motherhood. I love it. And my nephew, who is going to be 18 this year, yeah, I think he's going to be 18. I remember him. Okay. This connects to this topic of women's power, women's position, who males are, and you deciding your position and going that way. I'm very much here to be the standard of power for a woman in the seat of her power, her full whole power, with an appreciation for men. I don't believe in what is this? Denying men, ignoring them, withholding. No, that is not it. That's not my way. If other women feel that way, so be it. That's not my way. I hold a standard, and you will either meet me at this standard or we do not connect further. Okay? We're after it here. We're after true love and the creations that come out of true love. I'm not here for the nuclear family. I'm not here for that. I'm not here for anything over in that domain. Sophisticated binds, all this and all that. Listen, okay? And there's multiple conversations that could be had. But anyway, I'm here to restore true love and to be a conduit for that, okay? And true love is not in any way weak. It is fierce as fuck. I am not, true love, man, it's a different kind of power that most people don't want. It's a different kind of power that most people don't want. Anyway, so I remember my nephew, okay? I want to open the window because it's hot. My nephew was, he was a sweet kid. And he still is. He's a teenager now, though. You know, and all that puberty stuff, all that teen boy stuff. It's amazing how much noise comes in when I open that window. And he's had his own experience with his parents. And because I know him from childhood, from born till now, I have insider knowledge about the impacts of parents, about watching the maturity of a newborn male species up into teen years. And then working with women who have sons, who are married, you know, hearing stories, etc. And one, women are creating the men they hate. That's one. Okay. Women are creating the men they hate. Okay, so let's go there. Okay. Women are creating the men they hate. I'm gonna lay that down. Okay. And women are refusing their power. And then if we want to talk about levels of power, okay, because it's not just power and that's it. When we start talking about levels of power, there's a degree of power that's like 99% versus 100%. And to the average mind, 99%, it's like, well, I did 99%. Well, I did 99%, that's cool. No. The difference between 99% and 100% is torture. Absolute torture. Torture. The difference between 99% and 100% is torture. That song is coming to mind by Brandy. Almost doesn't count. When I say 100%, I'm talking about true love. Hello, Dalal. Anything beneath that is 99%. What do I mean? Yesterday I talked about one with. Before I go on, I want to say this. Know who you are and what you're after. Tell the truth. Know who you are and what you're after. The path of true love immediately puts you on the path that defies mediocrity. The path non-mediocrity. It's the path of aliveness. It's the true path of aliveness. It's the path of looking like a fool. It's the path of highest excitement. It's the path of no net. I love that language Nicole uses, no net. And most people don't want that. I get it. This is not about even you striving for that. It's not even a striving thing. It's something that you have a genuine call and desire for. But I'm very glad to bring this forward. So when I speak about true love and I speak about the world of no net and being in rulership power, and I'm talking about feminine rulership, not this conquering energy and you know how to place men. You know how to be in relationship with them. And because you can be in this place, which is, it's fierce. I can speak for myself too. I did a video the other day where I was crying so much, talking about obstructions, knocking down obstructions in myself by allowing myself to respond immediately to intuitive calls, instructions immediately without thinking about it, waiting. Oh, I'll do it later. Oh, I don't want to, all that, right? And how it was breaking me down and how much I was saying I didn't want to hurt. And I love this land of doing this is that you get to touch the thing on the other side of the thing. Because when, like I did that video, right? And I talked about, hurting, but the kind of hurt that changes you. And you know what's opened up for me since then? Is that when I'm in when these things get knocked down, which means I'm cleaner, which means I'm more raw, which means I can see better. Because when I have all these obstructions up, the obstructions obstruct my sight and the way I see things because I have all these obstructions up. And the more I remove obstructions, the more clearly I can see, which means I can make assessments better about who comes in. Okay. So that came and it was like, but I only saw that after I followed the instructions to do that video where I was crying on YouTube talking about true desire breaks you. If you want to go look at it, it's at the link in my bio. So that happened. And it's not a weakness. Knocking down obstructions. Women can, it's like, remember I talked about desire and like on the one hand, there's all these fear and then the other hand, there's all the highest excitement. It's the coin and on both sides of the desire, it's the fear and the excitement. Women think, and you hear it with women out there who talk about, basically whatever they would call it, walls, decenter men, no contact. What else? What other language, y'all? I've heard it so many different ways. The way y'all say it, no access, right? So when I talk about removing obstructions, women hear that as letting men in, just letting men in, and just uh, you know, and then all this fear comes up and giving niggas access, and nigga need to earn access, and niggas, all of this, right? And what I can tell you, and I could have told you this before, but it wouldn't have been as experientially informed. Now it's more experientially informed, and I can say this now from experience, is that, man, true love is fierce. True love is fierce. From a place of power. Like, this is what I keep saying, the pussy knows. You got to be in true power. You got to be in true admission of what you know. You got to be radically raw, honest. Like, all of this constitutes true love, which is freedom, by the way. Okay. So because you're not trying to make something happen or have it be a certain way because niggas ain't shit or whatever story you got going, because women have so many of them going. All the obstructions you got up to make sense of the world, to protect yourself, because men are When you are in this fierce place, first of all, men can look at you and smell the shit. First of fucking all. This is not weak, feeble. I'm just open, no matter the condition. It's not. And you only know this when you actually do this work that I'm talking about to knock down the obstructions in you. I can talk you through it. That's the trend on TikTok now. Talk them through it. So that's what this is, me talking you through it. But it's like the difference between me telling you about a fabulous trip to Italy versus you coming with me or going on your own fabulous trip to Italy. That's the difference, okay? And so, one, they can smell it. Like, so one, that cuts down who even decides to talk to you, come at you, how they come at you, all that, right? That's one. The second one is because you're in raw honesty. Love is not love without raw honesty. This is not mushy Disneyland shit. Everybody's so conflated with this love thing. That's not what I'm talking about. In my world, the truth is love. In my world, the truth is love. Like, you don't like me if you lying to me. Something is off here. Like, what's going? Something is off. And I don't mean that literally, like I'm taking it all personal that you don't tell the truth, because people shit don't be having nothing to do with you and me. It's their own thing. We just happen to be in their life in the moment that they got this shit going on. Truth is love. So for the women who are called to really be steward, this is like, oh my God, yes. This is like the goddess temples of past, the love temples of past. For those of you who are into Venus, love magic, true love magic. Those of you who, there's a book I recommend called The Sacred Prostitute. I can't remember. Nancy is the author's name. I don't remember her last name. First name is Nancy. The Sacred Prostitute, the Sacred Art of the Feminine, maybe, or something like that. But anyway, and in there, she talked about goddess temples of past, love temples, where basically all men would come, from the lowly ones who had very little up to aristocratic men. Now, this was a time when the feminine was respected. Okay, this before Christianity. Before Christianity, babes. Christianity came and knocked all of this feminine power shit down, bitch. Get rid of this, because as long as feminine power is going on, we can't conquer the world and rape and pillage things the way we want to. So we need to get rid of this feminine power shit, okay? So that's how that went down. But anyway, there were goddess temples. So this was the time where the feminine was revered. This was like how so many women today are like, you can feel, some of y'all can really feel your position to love men from a powerful place. Not this Cinderella shit that these disempowered women be talking about. But some of y'all really feel the call to love men from a powerful way that calls them up, that draws out the king, the power, right? Some of y'all really feel this you can feel that there's a place for you that it's like, if you not, this is very powerful. So let me go to the time, right? Because it's just so off today. This was a time when the goddess temples were alive and well, where from the lowly men up to the aristocratic men, they would come to women for all kinds of things, for actual solutions to problems, okay? For nourishment, for like coming to themselves, for sex, for all that and everything in between. And the way it was arranged, because there was a respect for the feminine could thrive without all this shit that we got to do today, you know, where there's so much, almost like women are like foisting themselves, and it's just so much, it just feels like so much for a woman to come into her power today. And so, men knew who they were, and they knew their place. They knew they were not above women. And women knew that for the society, the nation, the family, which there was not this nuclear family shit at that time, okay? Nuclear family is a creation. It evolved, and it's declining, but an evolved technology to rape and pillage. That's what it is, period. Now, if you want to start getting all into, wealth building, fine. Get married to leverage the laws for wealth purposes. Outside of that, okay. It was known and respected that a man was lost without being in relationship with a full woman. And again, as I said yesterday, if this ain't on the line with a woman, she ain't in her full power. If you're not doing the main thing, you ain't in the power. Okay. And the crux of the main thing for a woman is her sexual power, her arousal, her relationship with her body, because your relationship and fluidity with your body impacts everything. How you see, how you talk about yourself, what you expect with life, how you communicate with life, how you take care of yourself, how you move through everything. So if you think you can come out here and be a woman, you can be powerful, but all of this is sick and repressed, and your fruits show you that you off in that domain, okay? So women once upon a time, and see, this is what harmony looks like. This is what harmony looks like. Harmony. I have a community, the woman community. Y'all hear the ambulance. Those things are so loud. When I'm outside and they go by, I do like this. When a woman, and I also want to say this about the goddess temples of love of past, these women signed up for this. This is not obligatory. So this is what I mean by women who are called to this. They're assigned to this. Their soul calls them to this, because not every woman is called to be in this level of love. Okay. Somebody asked, how do we get right? I'm building the blocks right here, right now. And you're welcome to share what you think it takes to get right then. So, these women were called to be in these goddess temples where men came of all classes who had respect for the feminine. And there were the goddesses who were over the temple. Okay, so today, something like this could be called a, what do you call these things? Because see, the feminine has been disrespected. Now it's even talked about in whole houses. What do you call these things? Because Christianity came and just defiled everything that was once sacred, just defiled it all. Okay. So there were the goddesses of temple, the goddess temples, goddess of love, where women were there for this purpose, to be in service to men, really in service to the nation, in service to the people. It's just the men were such a huge part of this. They're half of the population. And because she was in this place, yeah, healed them from war. There you go. Right? The ones who did. This is why I say know who you are. There were the women who were there to be available to receive the men. And then there were the women who ran it. Oftentimes the crones ran it. Okay. And then other women who were just called to be in them positions. Okay. So they oversaw it, right? They were like the managers, if you will. And the men would come, and like I said, whether he was a man of low means or a man of high means, they would give what they could, right? If he was a man of low means, he would give what he could, and he could sit with the woman. Because remember, again, a lot of this had to do with a man being able to get into a connection, because a man by himself does not have the connection, okay? A man by himself does not have a connection. So, like I said, it was about the connection, just to like psychotherapy, if you will, okay? Just to get him right up here, right? Just to feel like presence in his body, presence in life, right? There were the ones who came for sex. There were men in leadership, aristocratic roles who came for actual solutions, right? They had problems in governance, problems and things, and they wanted actual solutions. There were ones who came for sex or came for all the things, you know? And it was a respected system, a respected, valued system. Today, something like that would be called a whole house. It would be heavily scrutinized. They were actually scrutinized at that time too, right? I'm telling you, Christianity came and knocked so much shit out of order. That's why it's like, you know, man, Friday night, they going. I'm gonna close the window. Hold on. Leave it. So, I don't remember why I even brought that up, but as I'm saying it right now, I wanted to bring forward, yes, the women who are called to be in true love, because that's what these women were. These women were not here to be chosen. They weren't looking to, do the nuclear family thing. That wasn't even a thing then. They weren't, right? All the things. And tying this to, thank you, watching my nephew, and then the stories I've heard from women who have sons and, or are married, etc. And that the woman being out of her power, even if she never interacts with men, is a disservice to all of the world. Today, women being in power is talked about as just like a get money thing. Get your power. It's always talked about in this sort of like, get your power because fuck them niggas. It's always talked about like, level up because niggas ain't shit. It's always, never mind the fact that women are creating the men that they hate. You're not in your power anyway, so why the fuck you mad at men? Be mad at yourself. Like all of this stuff that women are mad about as it relates to men, if you sit in a civil conversation with them and have them start talking honestly, the truth is they mad at men because they arrived to men in a weak, disempowered state. And if you arrive to a man in a weak and disempowered state, he's going to conquer you. He's going to destroy you. He's going to pillage you. He can't help it. And I don't mean that entirely, but he very much, because he's not connected like that. You all, not you, maybe you, we were lied to. Men are not these big knowing things. Now they are smart. They become smart living out here in the world, realizing, man, we got to survive. They are survivalists for sure. Men are like the chief survivalists for sure. And left under the realm of just survival, you're going to be conquered, ma'am. So you arrive to a man thinking he's going to save you, my husband, whatever else y'all talking about. He's going to, whatever y'all go to men in these weakened, disempowered, you're going to be conquered. You're going to be conquered. Now, he might make it look like something good, obviously. Like you ain't going to sign up for something where you feel like you're going to be extracted from, that you're going to be unpaid, slave labor, or whatever. I don't have to even say it like that. Of course, it's going to be painted to look good. That's the whole purpose of marriage. Like people aren't signing up for marriage because it sounds like hell. They're signing up for it because there's an expectation that it's going to be this sort of euphoric, utopian, beautiful, loving. Oh my. That's why they're signing up for it. And this because it's been marketed as that. This is why you sign up. So because males, okay, yes, they're sweet as little boys. Okay. And then they get out into the world and they're treated like trash. And people become what you expect of them and what you treat them as. People become what you expect of them and treat them as, or they don't come into your world at all. So if the experience of a male, which it often is that they are trash, that their only value is money, and then they're not connected like that on a spiritual level, who do you think he is when he shows up to you? Okay. And even if he goes to therapy, he studies spirituality, he, does the things that evolved men do. If you show up to him in a disempowered state and he's hungry, there's a good chance that you will be conquered, extracted from, and it's a good possibility you will walk away from that situation displeased. Or, depending on how evolved he is, you're walking away thinking you gained something, but only because of the way he made you feel. And maybe that's enough for you. Okay. Let me come over here real quick. What if, Nikish, what if? Answer that yourself. You have an answer for that. Okay, you have an answer for that. Er0tic Skywalker. How'd you come up with that name? Okay, so I want to talk directly at, where was this? How do we get right then? I don't know what exactly I'm thinking, you correct me if I'm incorrect. Get right. My company helps women come into their real power. We focus very much on your erotic self. What's going on? Because remember I said the pussy knows. Okay. Women always know. The question is, will she admit that she knows? So you get it right by first deciding whatever's right to you. I'm talking about full power that has you be in service to humanity. It's going to be in service to you, period. Like, y'all so many of y'all so starved. You can't even see past. You can't even really see beyond. You're so hungry. You're so angry. You're so scared. So anyway, you start by nourishing yourself. You start there. Real nourishment, you can't help but spill out because you get so full. This is why these things that we think are self-care, like going to the spa and eating good, they're nice. They're nice, of course. A spa is nice, right? Eating good so that you feel good is nice, right? But when I say nourishment, I mean deep. This is nourished. You know what I mean? Your heart is nourished. Your body has been touched, and that feeling, the penetration of actual human connection. I'm talking about that kind of nourishment, because when you got money, you can nourish yourself in every way except for the richest way, which is human connection. And even if you have a lot of money, I'm talking about women who do all these things that you can pay for and think that that's self-care or that that's self-love. I mean, it's good, it's nice, but I'm talking about the actual nourishment. Hold on one second. Oh, okay. Okay, good. And the nourishment that comes from being met somewhere deep inside yourself by another human being. The kind of nourishment that comes from you saying yes to your real desire, you know? When you're in true truth and true knowing, you tremble because it's breaking you out of the normal world of going to Starbucks and watching Netflix. It breaks you out of that and it makes you tremble. And it's very confronting because it's bringing you into what Nicole calls the membrane of the world behind things. Most women don't want that kind of power. So, right, I get that. But I'm still going to talk about it for the few who do. Okay? Like this person talking about knows what. You already know. If you're not picking it up by what I've shared here, and I don't know how long you've been here, but if you're not picking it up, you ain't ready to pick it up. Because one thing I know, working with women for so long, including myself, is that a woman knows how to like block, like stay out of like, you know what I'm saying? So this is the evolved power. So to answer the question of how do we get there, you ask yourself, am I really ready for full power? All of y'all, am I really ready for full power? Or do I just want to feel better? Do I just want to make more money? Do I just want to, that's very different. See, because this is a lifestyle. This is why I say again and again and again, know who you are and what you're after. Know who you are and what you're after. Know who you are and what you're after, like who you really are, what you're really after. Because that'll dictate the direction you go. That'll dictate the direction you go. So for those of you who feel called to true love, those of you who you live a fringe life. You live a fringe life. You've never been drawn to a normal life. You never were the type that wanted to get married. And since you were a kid, you weren't even thinking like that. You have sex with boys, you have boyfriends, lovers, you travel buddies, you would do all that. But you wasn't the girl who was like planning your marriage when you were 10. You never even thought about it. It's just not your thing. So one, it seems like one, those women are the women who are more ready-made for true love. So that's one. Two, what do they call it? They call it a junkie. What is it? It's a combination of things. It's one is different fringe experiences, like you've been to jail. Maybe you used to be a dancer or a hooker. You used to be on some kind of addiction, drugs, some other addiction. This is what I mean by a fringe life. You have been a nomad since you were a teenager. Maybe you lived in an ashram or just some other abnormal place for some years. You just have lived a very, what some people would call, wow, what an adventurous life, what a wild ride type shit. Oftentimes those women have a tendency to be ready-made for true love. And you've had lots of mystical experiences, enough to know that the world of Netflix and Starbucks and watching TikTok videos and I don't know, the nuclear family in the suburbs and a big house hasn't, just like all the things that constitute normal living, you've had enough mystical experiences to know that, wow, oh, okay. Mushrooms, like, you know what I mean? Maybe you led a bunch of psychedelic experiences for the last 30 years. You know what I'm saying? Um, it seems that this demographic of people seem the most ready-made for love because the people who always wanted to be married and, first-time home buyers and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just making delineations between who's who. Marriage and, just all the normal stuff, right? And I've been excited about that and love that and like that and feel, those people, they visit spirituality, right? Like they'll go to a workshop, they visit, they do little things, they'll go to a retreat and, right? But they're not ready made. They wasn't born like this. It's not inbuilt. You know what I mean? Mm, what was it? The sacred something. Oh God, what was it? Google the sacred prostitute and put Nancy. Put Nancy and see what comes up. It should come up. Or Marion Woodard, because Marion Woodard did the forward in the book. Marion Woodard or Woodward. these women typically are the ones who are ready made for true love, and like these are the women who would be in goddess temples, and you know, the story was told that men would go to war, and then they would come home, and the goddesses would fuck the war out of them and fuck love into them. You gotta be in a certain seat of power to live that life, because today women fuck for bills to be paid. They fuck. There's no reverence for the feminine, first of all. So I don't even blame y'all. Just like men today are just offspring of the bullshit, women today don't even know. Women, it's so, the level of fuckery is wild. Most women see they pussy as something to either give birth to or get a nut. That's it. You fucking a nigga to get bills paid. Maybe not you, maybe you. You fucking a nigga because for marriage. You fucking a nigga so he keep paying the bills. You fucking a nigga to have a baby. You fucking a nigga or having sex with your husband or your boyfriend or whoever, because it's just part of the relationship, right? It's what you do because you want to shut him up. Boy, have it how you want it. If that's how you was made to have it and how you want it, so go for it. But to be in a position where you are called to, or you give yourself over to fucking the war out of men, women today don't know nothing about that. They don't even know how to even begin. What? Fuck the war out of a man and fuck love it? What I'm getting out of it? What I'm getting out of it? What? Because this is my temple. Yeah, exactly. And you're in a place of, that's it. That's her name. Nancy Qualls Corbett. Very good, Gina. Mine was blown. Girl, I'm about ready to read it again, okay? Absolutely, okay? Most women are not in healthy relationship with their emotions. So anyway, hold on. Hey, Delal. Okay, I'm glad you're able to tune in too. Thank you, dear. So you ask yourself, am I ready for power? Am I ready for true? You can't fake this, so you're going to have to do the work. If you've been watching my content, you already know. I've been telling everybody need to have shadow gold. Everybody need to have shadow gold. Because if you still running around here worried about men are predators and all that, the very first module of shadow gold has to do with you owning one of the main energies is predatory energy. Women are too scared of men. You give them too much. The reason why men have so much power in your life is because you give it to them. Okay? Again, you come to him weak, you will be conquered. Okay? You come to him weak, you will be conquered. And depending on what he wants, that's how you'll be conquered. Okay? So he might make it look good, but you're not going to be in any power, real power, when you arrive to a man weak and he conquers you to get what he wants from you. Whether that's you becoming the wife and the mother and the overweight maid, whatever. Whether that's you becoming his whatever role. He gives you the role because you're not in power. So where does that leave you? Yeah, disempowered. So, and that's when y'all end up, I know somebody exactly like this. She did this in her 20s. And then she got in her 30s and was crying all over the place. Okay. And it happened at all the ages, 30s, 40s, and then you mad, and then boom, now you in the decenter men movement. Now you on the men are predators. Niggas ain't shit. They siphon from us, and nobody does anything without your agreement. You were available for siphoning. You showed up opening your legs, hoping that he would ask you for marriage. You showed up trying to trade your coochie for a male body in the bed. You traded your coochie for him to give you feelings that your father didn't give you. You was trying to trade coochie to get your rent paid. You was trying to trade coochie to get what you thought was going to be some protection. You was trading coochie to try to get something. And he didn't play that game. That's on you. That's what you get when you show up to a man out of your power, thinking that this being who does not have that kind of connection is going to give you feminine power. And for those of you who are trying to hurt men, you're only hurting yourself. See, what you show when you do that is you don't recognize how connected we all are. That's why, I mean, this is such an evolved game. It's such an evolved life. You think you hurting somebody? Really? You think you hurting somebody and that has no impact on you? Miss Goddess, Miss Queen. You just out here hurting men, hurting whoever, and it has no impact on you? You really think that? For those of you who are out here talking about, I like to kill a nigga's soul. When I say play the game, I mean life. Just life, period. The game of life. See, and that's the other thing. You're so used to men. You see the, just feel that right there. Everybody feel that right there with Shimonia. Why do we have to play the game? What do you feel? What do you hear right there? Yeah, that's a book, right? That's a book. Why do I have to play the game? As if there's this, because see what you're thinking, this is what I mean by everybody's mind is saturated with patriarchal thinking, but you don't know it because you're swimming in it. You swim in it. The way you see something, the way you're making a decision, the way you feel. Why play the game? Because when you think of game, you think of it the way men think of game. In the man's game, there's a winner and a loser. And the game of life, like was placed here, which is a book written by Florence Scovel Shinn. The game of life is your evolution into true power, true love, uncovering stones. And even in a man's world, they don't really mean uncovering all stones. They mean uncover the stones where I get to maintain my position as, because if you was uncovering all stones, then you know what's up with the feminine. You would have been. This is what I mean. They don't have it. And even though, why do I have to play the game? You don't want your power. This is what I mean. It has been said, a lot of y'all need to just go get under a man. Just give it up. Love it. A lot of y'all just, you refuse to come into your power. You think you want your power, but you're just saying that because you don't like the feeling of admitting that you don't want your power. So you trying to, I want my power. No, you don't. You just don't like the feeling of admitting that you don't want your power. You don't like the feeling associated with the truth of not being in your power. So it's the feeling you're reacting to. You don't really want to come, and not even want, but see the necessity of coming into your power to live a life that's nourishing and fulfilling to you at the ultimate levels of true love. Some of y'all need to just admit you want a man to see you for how wonderful you are and to date you, court you for a little while. Be nice to you. Be consistent so your nervous system calms down and you can trust him enough to open up and let him in. And y'all have some good sex and he doesn't ruffle any feathers too much. And he apologizes when he makes mistakes and he pays for things. So you can finally be like, I found a good man. And then he proposes marriage and he gives you a beautiful ring. And y'all get married and buy a house. And you decorate the house and you get to be your wife. You did it. Wow, I did it. You know that thing that like makes a woman successful and loved, and like the thing we're supposed to do, like, oh my God, I got picked. I am a wife. You don't want no power. You don't want the difficulty of removing all the obstructions to true love. Y'all just waiting for that one man to come along and do all the things that you think a good man does. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? There's plenty of women who are entirely, or I guess, either entirely or mostly satisfied with that. You may be one of them, you may know them. This is why, again, I say, know who you are and what you're after. Know who you are and what you're after. Because most of the Black women I have spoken, I've yet to speak to one who is like, this is what women should do. Getting married and have kids is what women should do. I'm sure they exist. I'm just saying I've never heard that. Most of them just tell you the best way to make it work under those conditions. Okay, so have at it if that's what you feel called to do. To make sure I include exactly what the bigger than you has to do with this. On the 10th of March, I'm hosting a 9-day workshop called Bigger Than You. And please hear me, okay? A lot of women, whether they're new to me, as some of you may be, or you've been watching me for some time, you get turned on and wake up and feel nourished and inspired watching me like this. I'm magnetic, I'm true, I'm spaciousness. I've done a lot of purifying work that has me create this connection, period. So women get infused with all that while watching me live or watching video on the wall, and it moves them into action, understandably, because I want women to be moved. I want particular women to be moved. And that doesn't mean you're ready for the Bigger Than You workshop. This is very important, okay? You need to watch the video on the page. You need to read the details on the page and really vet yourself beyond your emotions. Like the woman who was like, but why do I have to play the game? And then when I, said what I said, and she's like, I want it. She didn't. I could feel it was just her reaction, the emotional. So think beyond your emotions and really get into the reality of who you've been being up till now. And if you're truly ready to traverse the unknown, to command your own power, to do the deeper, shameful, dark work where all your shame lives, to really come into your body, really own all energies and do the work it takes to come out into the world on video or whatever way you see yourself being seen in the world, particularly for those of you who are in leadership, because that's what the 9-day Bigger Than You workshop is for, women who are called to leadership and coming into this power that I have been talking about here today on this live stream. So to vet yourself, you go to the link in my bio, click it and click Bigger Than You and vet yourself, okay? So please only sign up if you are knowing it's time for you to come into leadership through your power and the work that I just talked about here. Now, if you're not ready for leadership in the ways that I'm talking about, but you are hungry for your power, then you need to get shadow gold. Some of you here are here because you saw one or more of my videos about shadow gold and the ways that it's changing women's lives for the much, much better. So shadow gold, you can find also at the link in my bio, okay? Bigger Than You 9-day workshop and shadow gold can be found right now at the link in my bio, okay? So for the record, check that out. Alrighty, beauties. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, your evening. See you.